Not waking up your children for prayer time because saying, oh, he's weak, he's da'if, he can't wake up on time, he's miskin, how old he is, he can't do it, he just slept for these few hours. Wake him up for the salah. Another bad tarbiyah is that whenever the child does any mistake in his life, you beat the child up straight away. First mistake he does, you hit him. All your response is to that child is to beat the child up. This is also bad tarbiyah.
Ahsan Allahu ilayk. Again, similar topic. One of the sisters asking, when should a single mother start to inform her 11-year-old son about puberty, especially if she believes that he's been exposed to these kind of concepts at school?
You see, in Islam, these things should be taught to the child. He should know these things. Private parts, you're a male, certain things you teach them, but you just teach it in accordance to the age of the child. So for my children, they're 9 and 8 and 7. When they come across وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا, they ask me, they say, Dad, what does this mean? I say to them that you're not allowed to touch another woman. A man who's not married to a woman, that's not his sister. If a man is not married to this woman, or it's not his sister, or it's not his mother, or it's not his paternal, maternal auntie, then these people he cannot touch. Allah is prohibiting us from touching them. Which is true. If you're touching a woman that's not lawful for you, in Islam this is considered a very minor zina. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, al-yadani tazniyani. The two hands commit zina. And the zina of the two hands is when you touch someone that's not lawful for you. So this is where I start it from. I leave it at that point. The older that the child gets, the more I'll explain to the child. I'll explain to the child. But the child, you should not expose those certain knowledge and that information at that time. But to be honest, the kids that are now in the UK and everything, I think, or the West, it's a different story. I know a lot. They don't need you to tell them a lot. I remember when I was in secondary school, wallah, I was in, I think, year 8 or 9. Year 9, because there was sex education in year 9 as well, they taught. They taught it in year 7 or 6, and then year 9 again. I was swearing in my class and saying, no, we don't do this stuff. Sex education. I said, my parents said, no, we Muslims don't do this. Muslims don't do this. So in year 9, you're how old? 13, 14. 14-year-olds now, different story. Different story. I remember when I even finished secondary school, I still didn't believe this was true. I didn't believe this was real. I know Muslims don't do this. It's kuffar stuff. That's what I used to believe. But now the West is different. It's a different story. It's a different issue. So, it corrupts the child through music. It corrupts the child. I remember this is a story that happened when I was young. I was in secondary school, and there was a young girl who her family brought her to the school. They brought her to the school. She used to wear niqab in class. And to me, to be honest, I think that was the first time I ever saw a young person wear niqab in my life, secondary school. Everyone in class would ask, has anyone seen her face? Why is she covering her face? In class, everybody would talk about it. This is secondary school. The girl, she became, as time went on, she took off the niqab. So I remember the first day she came into the class and she took off her niqab. The kids were all like, the boys in class, is that fulana? Making Allah. They were saying very filthy remarks. And this is secondary school, I remember. Because I left when I was in end of year 8 or year 9, I left the UK. I remember that I never left in year 9 that year except that girl was wearing a miniskirt. That girl who was wearing a niqab. What she was wearing in school and what her parents were aware of was two different things. And I want you to remember, at that time, it wasn't very common in school for a Muslim girl to come in like that, dressed like that. It wasn't very common. So I saw this, when I saw this growing up, thinking, I don't want this for my children. That I bring them in and they're hardcore on their deen, very struck to their deen, tough on their deen, and then a few years later, they are influenced. Because that's the bi'ah. How can you blame a child? The bi'ah is like that. The environment is pushing you to that. Like I just went to the UK now, it was summer, very hot. Every direction you look, there's a woman standing there. And she's not wearing good clothes. What do you do in an environment like that? Your iman goes down the drain. I don't understand how people can still see this normal. Wallahi, it affected my heart so much. Only Allah knows it, subhanahu wa ta'ala. It affects you deeply. So a person should run away from that stuff and run away from that kind of environment. So don't let your children see that. You talk about the concept of niqab or hijab or even religion so much, and then your child on the streets, he sees something different. Something different. This whole LGBTQ, I haven't seen it for a long time. I've been away from the country. When I went back recently, for the first time of my life, I saw two men holding hands. Never seen it in my life. This is what it is, right? And as time goes on, things are going to get worse and worse and worse. I think we need to protect our children's hearts and minds. See, this is not just a war on religion. It's a war on the fitrah, the natural disposition. May Allah protect our children and our loved ones. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now I'm going to go into some of the mistakes that are done in tarbiyatul awlad. One of the common mistakes that are done is at-tardu min al-bayt. Some of the mistakes that are done is the child is kicked out of the house if he does certain things. Sometimes, get out of the house. If the environment is a very bad place and you kick the child out of the house, what happens? It gets worse. It gets worse and the child, there's no way you can bring him back. This is one of the biggest mistakes I've seen over the years. I have seen parents kick out their children and then when their child came back, it was not something they knew, someone they knew. It's a totally different person. So try to solve the problem in the house. Don't kick the child out. It's bad tarbiyah to do that. Another mistake that's done when it comes to the mistakes that are done when it comes to tarbiyatul awlad is تدخل الآخرين في تربية الوالد لولده. Other people getting involved in how you should take care of your children. The granddad is getting involved, he's throwing his little piece in there. Your mother is also getting involved and she's saying don't do this or do that. Or your siblings are getting involved that you can't even, this is not good. The tarbiyatul awlad should come from one place only, and it's to two parents. Other people interfering is not good for the child. He will benefit from that. The child will always look for who's given in the easy way out. So parents should understand that if their children are doing tarbiyah, the parents should just let their children do the tarbiyah for their kids. Don't get involved. If you have a daughter and a son, they have children, let them do their tarbiyah of their children. And if you think something is wrong, privately advise your daughter and son about the tarbiyah, but don't say it in front of the children. Another common mistake that's done in tarbiyatul awlad is as-safaru ba'idan 'anil awlad. Traveling far from your children. A father is away for like a few months away from his children, or maybe years. It's very common in some cultures where they send a mother to a certain country and then the father is in another country. This is not very good for the child. Distance between the child and the father, this is not a good thing. But some circumstances it becomes necessary. But generally speaking, it's not the ideal situation. Okay? Another mistake that's done is letting your child stay in dormitories. Okay? Saying to your child, we live in London, go to Manchester or go to another country to go and do university. It's not very good. Keep your children close to you. Don't let them go to other countries to do universities. And he's not even married. If you've married them off, then no problem. And he's married and this kind of helps. But if he's not, this is a problem in the issue of tarbiyatu al-awlad. So especially if you're in a Muslim country and you send a child to a non-Muslim country. So your child is in, for example, the UAE and you're sending that child to where? The UK, for example, you say go to the UK or America or those countries, that's not a good thing to do, okay? These are general concepts. Another su'ul akhlaq is silencing your child in the presence of men. Some fathers, they always tell their children, be quiet, let us men talk, you be quiet, don't talk. No. You want your child to learn to get involved in the men and their discussions, but correct him if he does something wrong in the way he talks. Don't push him away and say, don't sit with us, you're a little kid, go to your mum. Su'ul tarbiyah, it's a bad tarbiyah. Bring him into the discussions and tell him what you're talking about and what the conversation is about, so he can learn from this and be wise and hear what the men talk about, because he's a boy now. And the mothers should do the same. If their daughter is running around, they shouldn't just dismiss her and say, go to your room, don't come. If it's something good that you guys are talking about, bring them in so they can be part of it. Another bad tarbiyah is, some parents don't want to talk to someone. So they tell their children, if someone knocks on the door, tell them I'm not here. And there was a funny situation where a father told, or a mother told, it was a mother here, she told her son or her daughter not to, the child quickly picked up the phone and the mother said, I'm not here. So the child looked and said, Mum's not here. So the person said on the other side, when is your mother going to come? He said, wait, Mum, when are you going to come? This is, you teaching your child to lie, this is bad tarbiyah. It's what? It's very bad tarbiyah. Another bad tarbiyah is when the man belittles the mother in front of the children. He belittles her and says, who are you? What do you think you are? He belittles her, condescending on her in front of the children. This is not a good thing, because then now the children lose respect for the mother. Okay? You should never let the children insult the mother. Just the same way that the mother should not let the children insult their father. She should not belittle the father in front of the children. This is bad tarbiyah. Another common mistake is not respecting his friends. It's bad tarbiyah. If your son or your daughter has friends, respect their friends for them. Okay? Don't insult their friends. Because what that does is that it makes the child feel bad, and it also embarrasses him. And you're teaching your children this respect to others is fine. If you have any concern with his friends, you talk to him. Say to him, Dad, I'm not happy with these friends that you have, but don't ever belittle his friends or be condescending to his friends. And not waking up your children for prayer time, because saying, oh, he's weak, he's da'if, he can't wake up on time, he's miskin, how old he is, he can't do it, he just slept for these few hours. Wake him up for the salah. Another bad tarbiyah is that whenever the child does any mistake in his life, you beat the child up straight away. First mistake he does, you hit him. All your response is to that child is to beat the child up. This is also bad tarbiyah. It's also what? Bad tarbiyah. Another thing is making excuses for the child. Some parents are very good at that. The child does something wrong. The father says, why did you do that? The mother she interferes and she says, no, let me tell you what happened. And don't defend the child. Let him speak for himself. The father will then find out if the child is telling the truth or not, and the father would correct the child. Sometimes you bring the justifications for the child, where that child, when he grows up, he never takes the blame. He doesn't ever want to take the blame. Another thing that parents should stay away from when it comes to tarbiyatul awlad is always thinking bad of their children, and the opposite is true. Always thinking good of their children. Always stay away from that. Every situation of your children's life, you should look at it independently, without any other thing to it. For example, you know you have two children. You have Ahmed and you have Muhammad. Ahmed is always the kind, collective one, doesn't like to fight with anybody, stress-free, relaxed child. Muhammad, on the other hand, is always messing things up, always causing mischief and is up to problems. Some parents, whenever Ahmed complains, Muhammad's always in trouble. بغض النظر. This is bad tarbiyah. Every situation you need to investigate it independently, each issue. Some parents are like this. They know one certain child is bad, so they are always thinking bad of that child. That's also not good. Last but not least, causing conflicts between siblings. Sometimes parents play a role in this. They conquer and divide idea. Where they say, they make the children fight, they gossip between the children, and the children keep fighting, and they keep fighting. But the truth of the matter is, it's coming from the top down. That's something you shouldn't do. Cause mischief between siblings and try to divide the two from one another. That's inshallah ta'ala some of the benefits I wanted to share. Anything I've said that was wrong or incorrect is from me, shaitan, and Allah and His Messenger are both free from it. Subhanakallahumma bihamdi ashhadu an la ilaha illallah astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.